We're barely a month away from celebrating our escape from slavery, and we're singing this? Seriously? Whatever you do, don't sing this version of Mishenichnas Adar. Welcome to Jewish Music Toronto. I'm Eli. Remember that all of our lesson and sing-along videos are closed captioned, so if you want to follow along, all you have to do is click the CC button at the bottom of the YouTube player. We're finally here. Purim is this week, and with it comes Megillah reading, the giving of Mishloach Manot and charity to the poor, a big celebratory meal, and slave labor. Wait, that last part can't be right. How the heck did that get in there? Oh, it's this version of Mishenichnas Adar. Alright folks, let's do this. I'm going to bring up the board as I usually do, but I suggest not clicking on any of these links so you don't miss a thing. If you do click any of the links though, I'll stay right here so you can come back and jump to another section of your choosing later on. Let's get into it. Here comes the background. As Amir and I discussed last year in our original Good Mythical Morning themed lesson for Mishenichnas Adar, the origins of the song are found in the Talmud, originally appearing in Masechet Tanit, the Tractate of Fasts. The original material referenced the dichotomous relationship between the months of Av, in which the temple was destroyed, and a lot of other horrible stuff was said to have happened, and Adar, this month, in which we celebrate the saving of the Jewish people from imminent doom. The Talmud even continues on to suggest avoiding scheduling certain events, like court proceedings in a non-Jewish court, during the month of Av, because the perceived bad luck for the Jewish people during that month, suggesting instead to try to schedule it for, you guessed it, Adar. So let's move on to the author. The specific line within Masechet Tanit can be found right at the bottom of Daf Kaf Tet, Amud Aleph, page 29, column A. The specific words that led to the song are, once Av has entered, we decrease in happiness, etc. Continuing on to, just as when Av has entered, we decrease in happiness, so too, when Adar has entered, we increase in happiness. The words are attributed to Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Shmuel, the son of Shilat, and that was speaking in the name of Rab, by the way. And why did he need to go by so many names? Well, when there are at least 5 different Rabbi Yehudas in the Talmud, including Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, Rabbi Judah the Prince as he was known himself, you'd better have a way of differentiating between them. Interestingly, Rabbi Yehuda, the son of... Interestingly, this Rabbi Yehuda, assuming that I got the right Rabbi Yehuda myself, was also known as Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid, Rabbi Yehuda the Pious. He came from a line of Kabbalists and influential rabbis, including his grandfather, Kalonymus ben Yitzchak the Elder, a scholar and halachic figure in Speyer, Germany in the 11th and 12th centuries. As for Rabbi Yehuda himself, he was the founder of a yeshiva in Regensburg, Germany, and a rabbi to a wide array of students, a few of whom became quite notable, including Yitzchak ben Moshe of Vienna, the Riaz, and Baruch ben Shmuel of Mainz, the author of the Sefer HaChachma. He also wasn't your traditional rabbinical youth, having been more interested in archery than in his studies in his younger years. It was only at the age of 18 that he made a complete shift in gears and went into Torah study, and even in his rabbinical role you might consider him atypical, especially considering his promotion of Hasidism, both in his teaching and written works like the Sefer Hasidim, and stories like the one suggesting that Eliyahu Hanavi was once a guest at his Pesach Seder table. Ah, legends. Oh, and why am I still not 100% sure that I've got the right Rabbi Yehuda? In case you didn't catch it before, I said his father was indeed named Rav Shmuel, but unless his grandfather, Kalonymus ben Yitzchak, was also known as Shilat, well, I'm way off base. Either way, the further reading on Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid is quite interesting, so I've got a few links on him and his family down in the description below. On to the composer. Here's where things start to get questionable. What's a good Jewish melody without ripping off parts of or the entirety of a song from outside the Jewish faith? Am I right? Well, the melody for this version of Mishenichnas Adar is no exception, except for the fact that this particular melody would fall under public domain, like the Sloop John B version of Dorot Yikra, unlike some of the covers by popular Jewish bands and artists like Mordechai ben David Yidden to the tune of the Eurovision song Genghis Khan, the Rabbi Nachman song to the tune of the song most commonly known as the Numa Numa song, or the Piamenta version of Ashag Bara to the tune of Men at Work's Down Under. which itself was subject to a copyright infringement case. Compared to what's coming though, using somebody else's melody for your song is barely noteworthy. It's the melody, or specifically the song from which the melody is pulled, that's the controversy here. And that song is Pick a Bale of Cotton. You may have learned the song as a child and perhaps sung it in elementary school, or even sung it to Mishenichnas Adar already yourself. So now you're wondering, what in the heck makes that song so controversial? And I thought much the same thing when my friend Yossi told me about it back when we were in yeshiva in Israel. You remember Yossi, right? Well, as it turns out, Pick a Bale of Cotton has a much darker history, one relating to black history to be specific. So if you're now putting two and two together with my slavery comment and black history note, congratulations, you probably get where we're going with this. Yes, as it turns out, Pick a Bale of Cotton was most likely a slave worker song back in slavery era America. Sure, it sounds like an upbeat tune to which you could kick up your feet, especially when it's played quickly enough, but songs of this kind were particularly motivational for slaves and post-slavery field workers alike because of their pacing and their standard 4/4 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Think about the galley slave scene in the movie Ben-Hur. It's a similar kind of thing. The big difference here is that the slaves and field workers would sing the songs to keep themselves motivated and on a specific pace, rather than being forced to hold that pace. It was a way of keeping up their own spirits as much as possible. So why did I say most likely? Well, there is some debate online, including one very detailed timeline of the song, and a long debate thread on a folk music forum that includes suggestions that Pick a Bale of Cotton was not, in fact, from the slavery era, but was actually sung by prison workers on prison plantations, and also by non-black prisoners and general cotton field workers as well later on. I'm sure that the reasons for why black prisoners were jailed in the first place could also be up for debate given the history of the American justice system, but I don't really want to get into a full-on political discussion here. Instead, I would focus more on the fact that according to these readings, there was no official documentation of the song before the 1930s. That would be all well and good if not for the point that at the time the song was first finally recorded by James Ironhead Baker in 1933, or documented in book form as having been sung by Moses Clear Rock Platt, that audio recording technology wasn't really widely available until well after the end of mass slavery, the end of the 1800s and the beginning of the 1900s, and that Clearrock was 70 at the time of documentation, putting his birth right around the end of mass slavery. It's hard to believe that with all of the hardship their families would have been leaving just before they were born, and with their adjustment to a new way of life as they were growing up, that the spirit of the past would not stick with them for at least decades to come, in their upbringing, in their general culture, in their perception of relationships between black and white communities, and I am sure passed down in song as well. How could it not? Consider as well that the liner notes from a 1952 Smithsonian Folkways recording album, which points out that this version, credited to the late Huddy Leadbelly Ledbetter, is more of a joyous dance interpretation than a work lament. This popular version of the song interpreted in a completely new way, taking it from a lament and turning it into a danceable song. And that's not even getting into the insurmountable task of a person picking a whole bale of cotton in just one day. So taking the melody for our own means and completely stripping it of its history and any context it has does little service to its origins. If you want to do some more reading on those debates I mentioned as well as the liner notes, I've got loads of links down in the description below. I highly suggest checking them out. Plus, if you want to see some more Jewish music pulled straight from the secular world, take a look at the post from the Second Son blog I have linked down in the description along with everything else. Let's get into the lyrics. If after all that you still feel like singing the song, maybe you side with the it's not a slave song side of the debate, I'm still going to complete this lesson so you know how to sing the lyrics to the melody. And the lyrics are really simple. Mishenichnas Adar marbim besimcha. When Adar enters, we increase in joy. That's really it, so we'll go over it one more time so you know the words. Mishenichnas Adar marbim besimcha. Finally, it's time for the melody. The melody goes, Mishenichnas Adar marbim besimcha. Mishenichnas Adar marbim besimcha. Whoa, Mishenichnas Adar, whoa, marbim besimcha. Whoa, Mishenichnas Adar, whoa, marbim besimcha. That's it for this week's lesson. Let me know what you think about this version and its origins down in the comments below. Which side of the debate are you on? Is there a reason that you believe we should use this melody? I won't be doing a sing-along for the song this week, so if you want to hear a sing-along to Mishenichnas Adar, you can watch last year's version or watch last week's sing-along for V'nahafochu. What, did you just miss that whole lesson? If I'm going to tell you not to sing the song, it'd be a little hypocritical of me to do it more than one time. Okay, let's keep wrapping this thing up. Definitely take a look down in the links below for more information on Purim and everything else we talked about, and while you're down there leaving your comment about the song, why not tell me what you're planning on dressing up as for Purim this year? If you're enjoying our videos, be sure to subscribe and share. We really appreciate the support. That subscribe button is right down there, and that share button is right down there. Give them both a click. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Jewish Music Toronto and on Tumblr at jewishmusicdatabase.tumblr.com. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Oh hey! Want to see more Purim-related lessons and sing-alongs? Check out these videos for more Purim fun.